Oh, snap. 2020. Bye-bye. Bart Johnson Productions says it. Won't miss you. Get the hell out of here.
Hang on, I'm still expecting something catastrophic to happen tomorrow. There's one day left. This year is surely not done. There's got to be something left.
I'm looking at 2020 through my rear view mirror, and I'm telling you, you just keep getting smaller and smaller. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Clay, good to have you here. Bart, great to have you here. You've been making some amazing stuff for the kitchen that was redone, and I gotta tell you that that piece of meat, that sounds wrong, but it looked amazing, I have to say. That dry aged, what was that? A dry aged what? It looked dry. It was like a tomahawk steak or something. I don't know what's going on over there. Bart says, I'm not giving 2020 the honor of a goodbye stream. I'll stream on January 1st. Good evening to you, Travis. Here we are. It's Camera Flask. This is episode 94. Stop it.
Of course it is, yeah. 94, yeah. We'll go with that, 94.
Dry aged ribeye. Amazing.
That's unique.
Let's drink. Let's drink.
Let's, please. We've made it through
Caleb.
364 days of 2020.
Yeah. What are you going to have, Caleb?
So, desk's a mess. Let's see what's going on
look
here.
at that. Oh. It's like, perfectly
Where's
immaculate.
The camera? There it is.
There it is. Oh, wait. Can you
Anchor,
just give me a second? Can you give me a second
California
here?
lager.
Sorry. I don't have... There we go. Very nice. Is that an Anchor Steam? Is it the same company that makes Anchor Steam?
I have no idea. My California buddy hooked me up with this bad boy. So
I think it is. I
as
think
well
that's
as some other California stuff.
I think it's the same company that makes Anchor Steam. Maybe I'm wrong. Looks good.
So yeah, nice little
Open it
bottle.
up.
I've already had one, not tonight, but there she goes.
And you enjoyed it.
So yeah, it was quite nice.
Not,
yes, very
it's
much
not
so.
Anchor Steam though. What's it called? Anchor what?
Anchor California Lager.
Okay.
Yeah, you're
All
asking like who brews it? Not brew.
Yeah. Yes, it's the same.
San Francisco.
Good. Same company.
That's all I got.
All right, we got it. We're in. And what about you, Mr. Ben Barden?
Well, I did have an interesting beer earlier on, but I kind of drank it before I realized that we were doing the show. So I'm back on the only booze that I have left in the house.
I'm switching you on.
Me.
For some reason,
there
we got it.
Okay.
There you go. All right. Oh, what's that?
It is just it's the regular whiskey.
Nice.
I don't know. That looks like the marijuana leaf on your bottle there. I don't know what's going on over there. It looked like a little.
Was my grandfather, so maybe he's not around
anything's
anymore.
possible. Jeez,
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Very nice.
I want to get up my decanter game. Get one of those giant glass balls for the cap.
they're good.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Mine's square.
Good. Miguel, great to have you here on the live show, and greetings from Spain. Well, greetings from Oregon, but greetings to you in Spain. And Bart says they make a Christmas ale every year that has a different recipe. He's talking about Anchor. So Bart is in the know. That's a beautiful thing. I like it. All right. So I'm having something a little bit different today. As you might know if you come by the show, I'm definitely a Scotch person. This is a 291. It's made in Colorado. It is a small batch bourbon whiskey, and it is absolutely phenomenal. We may have opened this up on Sunday night. I don't know what happened. Just saying, okay? And it's exceptional. So it's called 291 small batch Colorado bourbon whiskey, finished with aspen wood stoves. No, not stoves. Staves.
Staves.
Yes.
Very, very
okay.
Colorado-y. Aspen.
Very, very. Okay, so here it is. It's going in. So we are starting the final episode of the year. Gentlemen, cheers to you. Cheers to everybody in the chat. And you know what we need to do next year. Not repeat this year. All the best. At least not
Cheers,
from
everybody.
all the bad
Not
stuff.
very.
I think you should, Bart. You should enjoy one over there. Well, as always, the chat is open. The format for Camera Flask is now basically, it has no format. We just talk about things. We can start with a little bit of food talk if we want, if that's appropriate. If anybody wants to mention what they had for the holidays. Not everybody celebrates Christmas. There's Festivus. We've got Kwanzaa. We've got Hanukkah, and lots of different things. So what were people eating over the holidays? Hanukkah was early this year, but what were people having? We're Christmas celebrators. What is going on? Camille's coming in for the booze. Let's go ahead and do it. €5 from Camille. Always taking care of us. We really appreciate it. Trust me, when we're all back together, the three of us, there's going to be if it's in Vegas in October of next year, it's going to be a special run to Total Wine and more for sure.
I was thinking about this, that I think, because the normal thing is dinner, booze up, slightly woolly head, but go set up the next day. I think we might need a buffer day between next time just to make up for lost time. Yeah.
Maybe I won't even teach a workshop, and we'll just go hang out for 5 days together. It'd be a lot better, probably.
Into that.
Yeah. All right. So what we got? Pork, mushroom, shrimp, croquetas, Miguel. What else we got? We've got self-made eggnog and some food. Obviously, the eggnog was the highlight. 360 grad. Bart made giant is an understatement. Giant dry aged ribeye. I've started dry aging beef at home. He aged a whole 22-pound ribeye for 35 days, and it was ready right for Christmas. Still have 6 steaks left. Okay, just post your address. We'll come on over. Classic turkey meal made by my amazing wife. Potatoes, gravy, stuffing, all the trimmings, delicious. That's Clay. So I'm guessing, Clay, you're not in the United States. I think I know that already. Maybe I'm wrong. Pretty sure if you had turkey, that's more of a... Turkey is in America is a Thanksgiving thing, but very much in Great Britain, it's Christmas. Yeah. Okay. Spanish dinner. I don't know. Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah. And had fondue with lots of liquids. Love fondue. Nice. I think we'll do fondue for Christmas Eve. Smoked ribs and ribeye steak. That's a lot of rib. And in the Netherlands, we eat appelflappen and oliebollen. That sounds good to me. I'll eat it. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it, but tell me. We're in Canada. Okay, that makes sense, Clay. I think I probably knew that. And then Bart's going to make annual prime rib soup. That sounds delicious. Love it. All right, gentlemen, what did you eat for the Christmas holiday? What is that? Why are you smirking?
Too much.
Too much?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not enough. What did you have, though?
What are you talking?
Too much.
Yeah.
Well, I went to my it was my mom's place and mom and dad's, and there was good grief. The amount of food that was consumed was out of control. So I want to say, I don't honestly remember what it was Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, but it was like ham, steak one day. My sister's boyfriend did, he made like a bunch of bread, and he did hot tamales.
Ooh,
which
that's what we
I've never had before.
That's what we had on Christmas Day. Our tradition is with our friends, we do Mexican food on Christmas Day. So everybody does their thing at home, and then we all get together at like 5 or 6 o'clock on Christmas Day, and it's Mexican foods. It's usually like braised beef, and then homemade tamales, which are oh no, she didn't make tamales. What am I saying? She made enchiladas. So you had tamales.
Enchiladas.
Did they?
The
is
corn
it like
and
wrapped?
the whole thing, and it's only got it from some legit like lady who knows what she's doing, and like her grandmother taught her or something like that. But I feel like everyone who I know who does hot tamales, they never make it themselves. They always get it from someone who is the real deal.
Yeah.
And then just so much bread. Like my sister's a baker, so homemade donuts, homemade bagels, charcuterie.
Yes.
and other
Nice.
things. Just so much food. So much food.
And what were some of the drinks that you were having with what were the libations that were being consumed? Was it like some cocktails and things, or was it just sort of straight beer and wine? What was it?
For me, it was a lot of Wild Turkey 101. And
Yep.
then my sisters are also crazy into making cocktails. So I had some, some whiskey sours and stuff
Ooh,
like
I love
that.
those.
Lots of wine. My parents are huge wine folk. And then for Christmas, it kind of is becoming a thing to do orange juice and a brut. What is that called? Brain farting here. Mimosas.
Oh, like champagne.
I'm not a
yeah,
mimosa
right.
guy.
Oh, yeah.
But, something.
You drink them
at
sometimes.
9 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more of a Bloody Mary guy with like bacon and.
You are a
onion in
Bloody
it.
Mary person?
Love a good Bloody Mary.
Okay.
Same.
Like a good one, not
Yeah.
some wussy buy the sauce, but like
Yeah.
a real deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, big one of those in the morning. Oh,
Do you not
favorite.
always find that they they're an amazing hangover drink, but they always, because they've got so much of that mixture of the savory and the alcohol thing, so there's all sorts going on in there that your stomach just doesn't quite know. When it hits your stomach, you're kind of not sure whether everything's coming back up or if it's going to sort things out.
geez.
It normally does.
I never do it
there's
that
always,
way.
There's always that first sort of sip, and you're, no, we're good.
Oh, okay.
You don't drink a
Yeah.
hangover.
Perhaps.
Hangover kid.
Yeah, I guess I don't drink enough in one go to like get myself to that point, but I don't know, something when you're really hungry in the morning and having a big one of those, and then having like steak and eggs and like really getting in there. Oh,
That's it.
miss it.
That's something like a.
Do you like it
Hunter S.
spicy?
Thompson.
You put some Tabasco
Yeah,
or
oh,
some
yeah.
sort of hot sauce,
Yeah.
like a fair
Well,
amount?
I've never made one for myself. This is usually going out somewhere, like at a really, really good breakfast place.
Yeah.
And we used to do that all the time in the city because there were lots of places that did that. But I don't think I've had one for years. But yeah, it's good stuff.
Good.
Nice.
Good. How about you, Ben? What was the? Did you do Christmas Eve traditional, where you do the presents on Christmas Eve?
Yeah, we did that. Food wise, we didn't. So 360's kind of got a good idea as to what we should be eating. He's saying, obviously, carp's the big thing for 24th. We didn't do that. We were going to, but my kids both got really sick, properly sick for sort of 2-3 days.
Not good.
So we kind of, and then my mother-in-law was going to come over here for Christmas Eve, 24th. So we bounced it to the 25th, by which time the kids were feeling better. Then she wasn't feeling great. So it just fizzled out a little bit. But the kids definitely did the presents 24th. They loved all that. So we've had a kind of really quiet, subdued one. Haven't really eaten very much. We haven't done the whole Christmas food thing. So it's been, but to be honest, this year it just feels par for the course. But as 360 has said, it's just, and we were talking just before we started the show that this whole week has had a catalogue of disasters of broken down cars and all sorts of other stuff going on. So yeah, it just feels like whatever. Things that would normally irritate me are just going, yeah, fine, whatever. This year, just get it done.
Oh man.
So I've got lots of car parts coming, which is going to give me entertainment for the next few days, fixing both vehicles. So that's good. And what we will be eating for New Year's Day, which is Czech tradition, is lentil soup, which 360 Grand has already flagged up. That's what you eat. And I'm sure there's something to do with having good luck. Like if you eat lentils the first meal of the new year.
I feel good. I had lentil soup right before we started Camera Flask, so there you go.
Nice.
My wife makes lentil soup all the time,
No way.
and I had a bowl. I was enjoying it, and so I feel lucky now. I feel lucky.
I think that's something that you kind of you always. I don't know. Maybe this is a middle-aged thing that I'm starting to like that. Whereas, I do really like it now, but until quite recently, that kind of lentil soup would be something that really wouldn't appeal.
Is it much like pea soup? I haven't had many lentils, but I love me a good pea and ham soup.
Consistency-wise,
I love a pea and ham soup.
Yeah, not totally different consistency-wise. A little bit different. I love to take, like, Jess will make lentil soup sometimes with red lentils, sometimes with green lentils. I like it when I put pepperoni in there, and it's delicious. So and I've talked like enormous amounts of pepperoni, and sometimes a little bit of like pecorino romano cheese on top. So I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
That's
it just
rad.
It tastes delicious. Let me tell you.
Pepperoni is a big deal to me, and it always has been. Like I would
And it should
dare
be.
say, as like a raw food item, not cooked into something,
Yeah.
pepperoni might be one of my favorite like raw ingredients, like over
Yeah.
steak.
Yeah.
I love
Have you?
pepperoni.
I would take an amazing and then when I say amazing, I'm talking about amazing hamburger over a steak. Most of the time, the best cheeseburger would probably win most of the time over the steak. I love a great steak, but there's just something about the right bun with the cheeseburger and everything that it's
A
come
nice
on.
sauce.
Yeah.
And no messing around, no cutting with a knife and a fork and
No.
Just
No,
put it in my mouth.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Now, speaking of food, which we were talking about, Clay asked, do you guys have any Christmas morning food traditions? Christmas Eve for us is the big meal that I cook. It's usually standing rib roast, but I didn't want to stress this year, so we did Italian. So I did a ragu, which is a lot less stressful. But what we do in the morning, because we don't open our gifts on Christmas Eve, we do it Christmas morning, is we open some of the gifts and then we stop and then we cook a big brunch and we all eat the brunch and then we go back and then finish off the presents. That's kind of our tradition. And it's pretty typical. Like sometimes it's frittatas, sometimes it's just scrambled eggs. We did bagels and lox and cream cheese this year because we had it, so that was delicious. Just depends, you know. There's always some coffee type rolls or cinnamon rolls in the beginning. That's sort of a tradition for the kids. I don't eat that stuff. It's like artery clogging crap, but it kind of tastes good. But it's.
I'm not a big sweet foods
No.
guy, but a mean, really good coffee cake just works for me.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Yeah, and
So
it can't be too dense or too fluffy. The cake
Just
itself
right.
has to be right there, and then I want that thick coating of that stuff on the top, and it's got to be crunchy and caramely,
but also
and
wet. It's got to be
yes.
Kind of that
The top. You talking about the
saucy
top?
and warm.
Yes,
and warm.
Yes. And warm is huge.
No nuts. I don't like the nuts. Straight up.
Oh, really?
Goodness.
Coffee cake's got to have walnuts in it. What are you talking about?
I know, but nuts and stuff I'm not really wild about. Like fudge.
Yeah, I like them.
Chocolate fudge. Oh, my mom didn't do that this year. Usually she does Buckeyes. You know what Buckeyes are?
No.
Those, it's peanut butter. It's like a peanut buttery, sugary.
Is that butter? Does
with
it have
Rice
chocolate?
Krispies and peanuts.
No, I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know that.
And then you make balls of that, and then you cover it with melted chocolate, and then put it in the fridge. So it's like crunchy. There's Rice Krispies inside.
That can't be bad.
It's like this peanut buttery. Oh, it's incredible. I love peanut buttery stuff.
Yeah.
It's like a ball of Reese's with
peanut butter. I don't eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or even peanut butter on toast that much, but peanut butter and chocolate, I mean, just forget about it. The dark chocolate peanut butter cups that they have at Trader Joe's here in the States are ridiculous. That's basically like little crack things that you just keep throwing in your mouth over and over again. So delicious. Sam, we also put Italian sausage in our lentil soup sometimes, and it's absolutely great. I'm getting hungry. Okay, Camille says, what were your high and low points gear-wise of 2020, and what are your predictions for 2021? I guess we're changing. We're changing. Whoa. Yeah. Let's see what we got. Anybody?
Where's the
Lots
question?
of Buckeye lovers. Highs and lows for gear in 2020 and some predictions for 2021. I think it's going to be a quieter camera year, is what I think, because I think they just went insane this year on cameras.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's going to be a lot of drones next year. I think that there's a lot of holding off at the moment because of new regulations coming in the US, new regulations coming in the EU. Everyone's been kind of holding off to get all that finalized and seeing what's coming out there. There's the Sony drone line that they're coming out with, which we don't really know anything about yet. So that's kind of something I'm keen on, and I'm holding off buying one until we see what happens. Because it makes quite a big difference here. If things conform to the new regulations, you can fly that an awful lot more places over more densely populated areas than you can with any of the current ones. You can still license them, still fly them, but you can't do as much with them as you can if they conform to the new regs. So they're all holding out for those to come in on the 1st of January. I don't know about the US, it's sometime around the similar. So yeah, that's the big thing I'm looking at for 2021. I don't know. My favorite thing for this year. I didn't really buy anything, so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I think most of the product categories are pretty saturated at this point. You know, there's definitely some room for innovation, but how much further can that go? It's just everything is pretty great at the moment, and it's just finding the right system for what you want to do. So we can clearly get improvements in terms of, you know, what they did with the C70 with built-in ND into a smaller camera body. You know, more companies doing very ND like Sony is, unless there's a patent issue. 32-bit float audio getting integrated into cameras would be fantastic.
Yeah.
I'd love that if we could do that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of ridiculous at this point how much we have available to us and at so many different price points. But just looking at the difference between this year at this point in time and 3 years ago at this point in time, and what options we have in terms of lighting and audio and camera and pretty much every other product category, you know, gimbals, sliders, all of that stuff. Some of it's been finesse and just getting things to be better. I mean, there's some companies that are doing things better than any other company has ever done in a particular product category. But nobody's making an awful light anymore, are they? I mean, awful? Even the $80 lights. I mean, you can get some really crappy lights. You know that.
Yeah.
But it's just not that bad anymore. So, I don't know. What do you think, Caleb? Do you think this has been a really busy year and next year will be quieter? Or with everything sort of opening up again, everybody will start doing even more stuff?
Yeah, I don't know. It's really, I had no idea this year would be this wild. So that's a really tricky one. I could see it being a little slower. I'm definitely more, it's interesting. I think all three of us are kind of tuned out, chilled out, not tuned out, but not one of us is like, wow, gear. Oh my goodness. I can't wait to buy, spend money and get things. Obviously, because you know, it's been an interesting year, but also because of everything happening. And I think everyone in the world is a little more financially aware of their life. But that is kind of interesting. So it was a wild year, amazing cameras, big leap this year. Like you said, 3 years ago, I was thinking like, I don't even know if the R was out yet. Sony A7 III and like the GH5 and Blackmagic Pocket. That was kind of your options, at least in the realm that I work within. So this year, I mean, was it this year we did C500?
I think we had C500 Mark II was either right at the end of last year or right at the beginning, followed by C300 Mark III. You know,
FX6
FX9
is out now.
FX9,
FX6, C70, A7S III. I mean, it was a crazy year and other stuff.
And Komodo came out this year. Yeah.
Komodo, which I saw, by the way, Grip Tips. Good to see you, Tommy. Welcome. Dana Scott and others. So yeah, this next year, I'm not sure what the big deal is going to be. It's going to be interesting. I guess we're all just kind of waiting to see when this will be, over, quote unquote.
Yep.
When the world will get back to as the new normal, whatever that's going to be.
Yeah.
How about you guys? Are you and this is a question here I was going to ask, is there anything next year that you want to invest in? Doesn't have to be gear, or that you're like most interested in?
Well, I'm building out.
I'm building super over cameras.
Yeah, I'm building out the barn, so that studio space is really like they're delivering the 30-foot beam on Monday, which is going to be able to span. And so what I'm actually looking at, probably more than anything else right now, because for me, 2020 was all about figuring this all out. So it was A10 Mini Pro. It was using a teleprompter. all of the time that I spent when the pandemic started, figuring this out, turned out to be probably the best time that I spent, because now what I'm doing every single day for my client is using all of this stuff. But what's exciting for me about the barn is I think I'm seriously considering, as long as work keeps coming in for a while, actually building a proper 2-wall cyc. So
Nice.
that's a big deal. I mean, that's not a little
Do you want to buy one?
project.
Do you want to buy
So-
one? I've got one in the studio in the UK. I can get it
airlift
shipped.
Sure,
it
just
over
ship
there.
it over.
Five-star
Just ship
armor
it
one.
over.
It's great.
Just deliver it by drone. And there's a couple of different companies out there. Pro Cyc Wall, a couple other ones. Interestingly, one of them's right here in Portland, Oregon. And they have 2 variations. The first variation you build into your existing wall. So you have drywall or sheetrock. And then you measure everything, and they basically send you all of the panels, and you put them all together.
Yeah.
But then you still have to get somebody to plaster, basically to do all the mud and everything else, which you've done, of course. I can see, Ben. The other system that they have is a freestanding system, which costs about 1.5 to 2 times the cost. But you can build a 16, 20 foot from center, from where the curve is, cyc.
Yeah.
And then you can break it down and build it back up, and you still have to mud it. You still have to get it perfectly smooth, but you can then break it apart and put it somewhere else. I don't know what I'm going to do. Yeah.
Ours is a freestanding one, and
Okay.
it was made by Cyclorama, and it used to live in Pinewood Studios in London. And then it got sold by them. Then it went to another studio in East London, where we bought it on eBay for some ridiculously tiny amount of money.
Really?
And took the biggest. I've got a license for a 7.5 ton truck, and I'm pretty sure that's what it was that we hired. Went out to London, picked the thing up, and the guy said, "No matter how big a van you bring, you won't fit it all in." We didn't, and brought it up, assembled it, and it has all these huge aluminium support structures underneath, so it doesn't really flex on any of the parts where it's going to crack the plastering. But getting the finish right on it, I can't tell you how difficult that was. And we were getting people in, plasterers with 20 years experience, and go, we need this thing. Nothing worked. And we ended up having all sorts of problems with things sticking to it. I think we had 2 or 3 times that we actually had to strip everything back off it and redo it again.
Ooh.
And
What
car
a pain in the butt.
Car filler is what you want. Car filler gives a fantastic finish to it. And then the paints that you want to have on it, and then where you then bring that into the floor, again, just do a lot of reading up on the types of paints and never mix them. Never get caught short. Go down to whatever your local Home Depot or whatever it is and go, "Oh, they haven't got this in. We'll put something else." No, it then gets all kinds of weird patterning on it, all kind of texturing stuff goes strange. I can't remember it was a matte vinyl emulsion that we used, and we painted it after pretty much every use. It had a single coat on it on a roller. So every time we used to rent the studio out, the client, we would have to put in a painting cost. Not the sidewalls, but the floor was repainted pretty much every single use.
Well,
It's
here, I'm going to put
utter pain in the ass.
So I'm really looking forward to it now. That's great. Here's a link in the chat that everybody can check out. This is one of the ones that I'm talking about, and then that same company has built-ins. So there you go. What about you, Caleb? Any more build-outs this year, or is it just sort of finessing your production space and what you're doing?
Yeah, a lot of finessing. So we expanded this year into a little more space.
Right.
I've tweeted about this and I have a form people can follow, but I'm going to be exploring manufacturing the A10 mini case.
Yes.
So right now in the kind of the designing phase of that, lots of 3D printing. So might kind of add a wing of like a small 3D printer farm and maybe sell some stuff, because all kinds of little things we could produce. So that might be kind of interesting. And then just recently, I've been really getting into lean manufacturing. I don't know if anyone's heard of that.
No.
So it's essentially a kind of a mindset behind manufacturing. It's just a really efficient manufacturing. And so applying that to video production. So if you think of a video as an actual product, like just take the same techniques used in a machine shop where they CNC and build, transmissions or whatever, and apply that to YouTube videos, video production in general. And since I'm not going out and filming like client work, I can kind of do that because it's all kind of in-house. It's kind of like a factory. So in lean manufacturing, there's this whole concept of using cells. So instead of having a big production line where like the widget moves down this huge thing, you build each thing in like these zones or cells. So they're very specific. So let's say, you're building, I don't know, a camera, for example. You, instead of like this whole thing where there's a huge warehouse with all this crazy stuff happening, there'll be like one station where all they're doing is, assembling the display, and everything they need, all the tools for building the display is right there. The next cell might be, putting together, the battery. And so you'll have another set of tools, even if there's duplicates. So I'm applying that to the studio here because I find often I'll have areas where I have all the stuff. So I have a drawer with like all the batteries for the entire studio. So kind of tweaking things where I have these like little carts by each area with duplicate batteries. So as I'm filming, I just grab a battery and keep going instead of having to walk, 2 rooms over or a room over, and just separating everything. So I've got a top-down setup. There's this space here. There's the A-roll set, and just breaking it all down. So when you're in that particular area, you have everything you need, even if that means having like, 8, lens cleaner blowers just spread everywhere. But that doesn't mean you have to like, where did I leave that? Or a tape measure or pliers, screwdrivers. So I'm building these like little carts that have just everything I need for each area. And it's going to be a lot of duplicates, but that means like when I go to shoot tabletop, I don't have to leave that tiny room or that little area until I'm done. Same with the B-roll. So it's kind of interesting. Lean manufacturing.
Is it? Are you using those like Olympia carts?
Cocky guy.
Oh, go ahead. No.
No.
Ahead,
No. I'm just using a $60 cart from.
No, that's what I mean. Yeah, the Olympia carts are like a 3-shelf one, and they're like $60 to $70.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
so there's a billion of them. I also found there's some awesome salon carts because they're designed to like hold, all these like, shavers and hair dryers. But I ended up with like a 4-tier shelf with like little hooking baskets and stuff on the side. So we'll see how it turns out.
Okay.
But
what were you saying about that person?
You
were saying
there's some.
A guy.
I'll try to maybe find it. There's some guy who's super cocky and full of himself, but he has this like the ultimate like lean manufacturing setup. They make like woodworking tools, but it's down to like, this guy's insane. But it kind of goes to show like if you take this to the nth degree. So anyway, just kind of messing around with that kind of stuff, trying to get it so there's almost no friction. Because I don't know about you guys, but at least for the YouTube thing, I'm sure for production, like what you should be doing is getting this shot, but you're gonna have to like take the head off of your tripod, or you're gonna have to do something,
Totally.
and there's just enough friction there where you're like, screw it, just kind of pan over and get it, and let's move on.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
So
yeah, I think
all the time I'm like that.
Yeah.
All the time. And I'm less and less interested in filming, because it's kind of all the same thing after a while of doing this every week, So if I can remove as much friction as possible, like having a camera that like is top down, never moves. I'm not going to set up a camera every time, stuff like that. You pay for it on the front end, but the result is, if you need to get a couple tabletop shots, there's almost no friction. You go in, you flip a switch, and you record, and you walk away.
It's fascinating.
So stuff like that.
It's interesting that the word lean is in there, because it's not lean from the perspective of you're not, you're sharing things. It's exactly the opposite of lean in terms of that, because you're having duplicates, but they are area or task specific to what you're doing. So you have the correct tools there, so you're not constantly moving things from one place to the other. And
it's lean as in it's fast. It is kind of confusing, actually, now that I think about it.
But
one great example is these guys in a shop. Instead of carrying like a tool belt with like all this stuff or having like a tool chest, they'll have things like they walk up to the saw, the CNC machine, and like the eye protection and ear protection are on top of each machine. So
Wow.
that means you have
Yeah.
8 sets of
Yeah.
them. But when you need to use the tool, you just walk up, put it on, make your cut, take it off, move on, instead of like, oh, where'd I leave my ear protection or whatever.
Yeah. Interesting.
Anyway,
I guess I'm kind of doing something similar at the moment because instead of obviously this year I've not been flying, but that was my life up until this year, was doing everything by plane, normally between here and the UK. And there's all sorts of complications as to how that's going to work now in terms of customs, because I don't know if either of you two have had to do this and deal with ATA carnets. I'm now going to be having to do that between here and the UK by the looks of things. So this is ridiculous. When you go to the airport, if you do it that way, before you even check your luggage in, you're going to have to call the customs guy. The customs guy is going to have to come and find you. You're going to need to leave time for this before you check in as well. And then he's going to have to sign off that your equipment and your carnet match up. He'll check. Normally they choose 3 or 4 things at random. They look on the list. It's an incredibly complex thing. It's a little bit easier if you're traveling by car, and that's kind of what I'm doing. So I bought this van about 3-4 weeks ago, and it's at the moment it's a 9-seater. But I'm now configuring that, rigging that out, figuring out how I'm going to use that for work, how I can travel that long journey backwards and forwards to the UK, use it to sleep in as well for odd nights if you've got an early call, or if it's outdoorsy type jobs, and charging solutions as well. So I'm putting a split charge system in it with a second battery, auxiliary heating, so it'll run off the diesel tank when the engine's not running. Little desks in there so you can have a little DIT station, things so you just be at least running stuff in and out quickly if clients are around, to be just previewing work with them, copying data over. So all that sort of stuff. But there's an awful lot to fit in a fairly small space, and it's been really drawing all that out, planning that out, making the shopping lists. But a bit to do the same thing in terms of being able to have things semi-rigged as well, rather than everything packed down, everything just dismantled into the smallest pieces to get it on planes.
Yeah.
Actually being able to leave things and having these huge, like a pickup truck bed slide, having that kind of system in the back of it, so you can just have everything laid out, but with a bed on top, like a bed stroke second shelf that could be used for either. And then it's got the tailgate on the back of the van, so that's actually sheltered from weather as well, all that stuff when you pull the slide out. But it's all just, lots of time on YouTube, seeing what other people have done, tweaking it around.
Did you buy a van?
Yeah.
Nice.
I bought a Volkswagen Transporter, which then but at the moment, the first bit of money that I have to spend on it is the starter motor, which packed up on it yesterday.
Oh, great.
So I've got to spend some time underneath the thing, fitting that before I can start getting into the back of it. But I've started ordering bits and pieces for it. It's all coming.
Yeah.
But it's all that stuff, figuring out how much power you're going to need to draw off it, what stuff you want to leave at 12 volt, what sort of stuff you want to put through an inverter and run in with 220 here, because obviously that's not very efficient if you're having to step things up from 12 to that. So you want to run as much stuff off your 12 volt as you can without having to step it up. And then inverters, you're using pure sine wave inverters, so you don't end up with a nasty, dirty signal on your electricity, which is then certain things don't like. Power tools don't like it, but camera battery chargers.
Gotta watch out for those 220 tickles.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't want to with a bag full of dongles. You never know. six dongles down, 9 dongles down, and you could get a 220 tickle any day of the week. Some people are into that, especially this year. But anything you can do. Yeah, well, that's cool. I think my perspective of things has obviously changed this year. And one of the things that's changed enormously for me as well is the lack of travel. And, I feel blessed that I have a client right now that I'm doing a lot of work for, and I get to do it remotely. And one of the things that I've realized is that I'm not very interested in jumping in. I'm doing a lot of producing work, but I'm not really interested in having to be a producer on productions where you have to deal with all of the protocols that relate to COVID-19, because there's such an enormous responsibility as a producer. And I know so many people who have worked on productions that have just shut down within a day or two, and then they send people home for 10 days, and then they have to restart up, or it never gets started up again. And I'm terrified of that because I'm just not in that realm of production that has that kind of budget. I can't say to the client, okay, it's going to cost, whether I say it or not, it's going to cost them 2 to 4 times as much to do the production, because you can't go into the production as a producer and know that you can pull it off unless you have that kind of budget, because there's just too many things that can go wrong everywhere. And so, building out the barn and the studio space is partially so I have a space that I can go into, because you have kids doing Zoom school and everything else, and I need to go out to a space every day. Part of it is to create more content, but the other part is I don't know how quickly I'm getting on airplanes and traveling again, and I want to still be able to do production work, which is, really where my first love is. I like doing post, but I really don't like doing post myself every day. That's not my favorite part of the process. It's the production side of it. So, it's going to be interesting to see how this year pans out and how everything happens with, worldwide with the vaccines, and the way that all plays out. Are you going to need to have a vaccine passport to go somewhere? Are you not? I don't know. And the three of us happen to be in a like we can't even, if we want a vaccine tomorrow, we can't even get it until next summer, if that, because of where we are in terms of our age, our health, those types of things, which we should be thankful for. Yeah.
For sure. I mean, I'm hopefully on the reasonably high up the list due to not having a spleen through a motorcycle accident many years ago. But it's still going to be 2 months, I think, before I get it. But it's already in this thing as to whether you're going to need to have it to be able to travel. There's some airlines have already put that stipulation in place. They've not put it in yet, but they're saying that as soon as the things are online and enough people have had it, you're not going to be able to get on a plane without having had it, which is interesting. And it's just, I don't know how much of this year, because I know we're all desperately keen to see the back of this year. But obviously we're not going to go into the 1st of January and all is hunky-dory in the world. I mean, the situation here is really bad. It's worse than it's been at any point. The situation in the UK is the same. We've gone into full lockdown here. Most of the UK has gone into lockdown. Again, I know a lot of the US is in a bad state again at the moment. So I think this vaccine thing is going to take a few months to do it. So we're going to have at least 4 months of continuing on. And I think it's quite hard trying to plan any work in at the moment. I've got a job in the UK I've been trying to do for the last 2 months with Jago, and it's just not working. It's just, I mean, we're going to try again in a couple of weeks to get it done. But traveling from here to there, which is normally very simple, has now become very difficult. You need tests in the countries that you travel through, and tests have to be a certain number of hours old. And it takes time to drive through these places. So it's then you have to then stop in another country on the way and get yet another test, all of which cost. None of this stuff's free. So you're then paying $100 a test, $120 a test. It's complicated. And I think we're stuck with this. So your situation, Jen, where you're able to, both of you are able to do stuff from home. And again, like you, Jem, I don't like editing particularly, but I'm quite keen for that sort of work right now because it's solid. I can do it at home. It's not going to get canned. Whereas, other stuff, it's just, you keep making plans and stuff changed. I don't know if you saw all the stuff in the UK just before Christmas, where essentially some new strain of COVID was released. And then this whole thing blew up again and the borders all got shut. So you couldn't get out of the UK. You got to, it's just impossible to plan anything. So I think that's very smart to be investing in stuff that's going to allow you to continue to earn an income without having to move.
I hope so. I was actually shocked at what you just said. I thought when I woke up on January 1st that everything would be totally back to normal. So I have to rethink my plan for next year because that's just totally messed up. What is going on in this world? I did not sign up for this science fiction movie. Let me just tell you. Okay, when I came into this world, this was not the game plan. So screw you, 2020. And man, can you imagine? We have to go through all of those borders and just take. There's too many Q-tips going up people's noses right now. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do not envy the UK.
Ridiculous.
All those countries
Okay.
all jammed together.
Speaking of, let's
Or
get back to
EU.
the chat here. Wait a minute. In Switzerland, we had 200 British people run away from their hotels. They had to quarantine. I
Oh.
saw that. That was pretty funny.
I saw-
for 60 grad. And by funny, I don't mean it's funny, but it was kind of funny when you
No.
read about it because they
But of
made a
these
run
people-
for it in the middle of the night. I'm going to
And the
ignore that
people left
previous
that
comment
actually-
of yours, 360 grad, because I would like to continue to keep this channel going. And what do we got? Do you see any comments, anybody? What do we got? Come on. I feel like it's very chill right now. But what do we got? Anybody see
Yeah,
anything?
hit us with questions, folks. 15 minutes left. It's open mic time.
Uncomfortable silence?
Tommy says something about his
I can't hear
spread
you,
a while
Caleb.
back.
Oh, maybe my
Hello?
my
Hello?
volume went down. I can't hear you.
Check.
I can hear
Ben,
him.
do you hear Caleb?
Oh boy, here we
Yeah.
go. with
Why are
one
you
of
looking at
these.
me that way?
Because I can't tell
You
if
guys
you're
are
serious if
sucking.
you really can't
What's
hear
going
me.
on?
Oh, I thought you were smiling
full of
because it
crap.
meant we potentially might get a just
can't
Caleb
hear
and
you.
Ben show again.
Thumbs up if you can hear me.
Yes.
I can't hear you.
Really,
Can
you
hear-
can't either of us.
Ben?
I can't hear Ben either. Ben, can
Oh,
you hear
God.
me?
Hear
Thumbs
me.
up.
Yes, I can
I'm not
hear
taking
you.
the piss.
Or
I
he's
really
being-
can't hear you.
I
God,
can hear
you guys are
him,
unbelievable.
and
All
I
right,
can
well,
hear you.
we'll do one of these. Anyone in the chat have a question? We need more moment of silence for the loss of Don Wells. Gilligan's Island. Oh, yeah. Wild.
Oh, I read that.
Everyone-
Yeah, that.
Oh, he's back.
Well, yeah. For some reason, my headphone just
Oh.
died. Yeah, I don't know. Stuff happens. We lost part of Gilligan's Island. I know.
Fish and chips. It's been a long time. Yeah, I hope we get to hang out, all three of us, in 2020. That's probably my biggest
That's yeah.
wish, is to be able to spend time with people and eat not at home all the time.
Yeah, I would like that
Yeah.
too. So, do we
Yeah.
really think, okay, let's just take bets here. NAB 2021 in October, is it actually happening?
No.
Because how soon before would they need to pull it if they were going to? 3 months? How soon was it this time? It was less than that, wasn't it?
They
Was 2
killed
months?
it in what? January?
No, that was a
February?
clusterfuck the way they handled it. They really handled it
Yeah.
poorly. It seemed like it
'Cause it
was
was
like
obvious
end
to
of
everyone
February
it was gonna
into
happen.
March. It was like
Yeah, it was.
insanely close.
Yeah.
They just
was.
kept hanging on to it. Clearly bad management there.
But I don't know. I reckon and obviously I don't know what the situation with this in terms of rollout of vaccines and all this stuff in the States. I would say, given what I think will happen here and in the UK, for the UK is reasonably far on with this stuff already. I would suspect that by kind of June, July, there will be fairly large numbers of people that want it will have been able to get vaccinated, I think. And at that point, that's far enough away to be able to take the call then, I would say. And there may be stipulations again in terms of having to have had the thing to go there. I don't know. I'm not sure how that would all work and how they would control it. And like you said a few months ago when we were talking about this, Gem, I'm not going if it's all like restricted and we can't, if it's free and like it was and that we can all hang out and, but I don't want everything to be at arm's length and having to be 2 meters away from everyone and all, that if that's the way it has to happen, of course, but I'm not traveling for that. The whole reason I go to that thing is to hang out with you guys. It's the social thing. It's all of that. And so if it's a restricted thing, if by that time of the year we're still doing this, we're all still in masks, all the rest of it, then I think not. Definitely not for me. But if we can all hang out and not do that, then yeah, I'm in. But
Well,
we'll
News
see.
Shooter says
I think-
doubtful it will happen. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna see. This is gonna sound terrible, but I think at minimum we're looking at summer 2022, which is an awful thought, but If we're
I
real,
would say,
I think what'll
yeah, I
happen
would
is
say,
everybody's
yeah.
going to freak out because numbers are going to explode this winter.
Yep.
We're going
Yeah,
to come back in the
sure.
spring. You know, who knows what'll happen with each country and, you know, the politics and legislation of everything. Then we'll have continued spikes because if it's going to keep spreading and if it's going to be similar to influenza, it's just going to be a thing. And
Yep.
then most people will eventually get it. And then what'll happen is it'll kind of increase again as we get into late summer, fall. And as people potentially get together and do stuff in the summer, we'll have another close down and lockdown in the fall. And then hopefully, I think it's just going to be whenever people are like, you know what, I'm done. You know, like I wouldn't be surprised
Yeah.
if it's summer 2022. You know, that will have been like 2 years into this thing.
Yeah.
People are like, I've got to live life, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
obviously not, you know, spit into the mouths of old people, but
No.
or people who maybe have, you know,
Yeah, but
or
it might
who
be
need
like
to be very
chicken pox
careful.
parties. Yeah, it might get
Right,
that
but
bad.
at some point, I think people, you know, are just gonna snap, and I feel like that kind of like it's summer again, and people are like gonna start losing their minds. But I don't know. That's just Caleb, you know,
Yeah,
I think
yelling
there's probably
into the
there's
wind.
a lot of sense in that. I think
and
there's
you
a
know,
lot of sense in that.
if you
I'm
look at next
emotionally
year,
preparing myself for it.
yes,
Let's put
and
it
you
that
should.
way.
Yeah, I mean, if you really look at it in terms of the rollout of the vaccine and everything that's going to follow from there, and then you also look at the fact that NAB New York, which is a very tiny show, so it doesn't really have a relevance. It's probably a good way to get rid of it. Is now going to get replaced by NAB Vegas in October. They've now completely shifted their annual schedule. Somebody is going to wake up one day and say, "Oh shit, we scheduled NAB 3 to 4 weeks after IBC in Amsterdam." And who in their right mind, with everything that's going on in the world, is going to pack up their crates and ship them to Vegas instantaneously after IBC if it actually happens in Amsterdam? Because the reality is most of those companies have to share a lot of the elements. It's not all of them. You know, they're not lean lean manufacturing? They don't have that. They, you know, they're sharing. They're sharing their booth stuff and the things that they do, and a lot of those companies are. I don't see them both happening for sure, and I don't know about, you know, I don't see IBC happening in September. Do you? I don't see it happening.
I don't know. I think if either of these two things happen, I think they probably will be on a scaled back version of what they generally are. I mean, they're very different shows anyway. Those two things, they're complete. From me as a visitor, I find those two things entirely different, which we've spoken about many times.
Yeah, I don't know. What I think honestly is we've been talking about the death of trade shows for years and years and years, and what NAB turns out to be after all of this will be, the longer this takes, the less likely that show will be a big show anymore, or any of the shows in the world, because
sucks.
It's already it sucks. I mean, because it's already, the adaptation has already started to happen in corporate America for all the companies that go to the shows, people working remotely. You know, and what happens is we start to use this platform, not our channel, not this show, but just using the internet more and more to effectively sell and distribute product. And that's why it's not going to matter to companies as much by the time we get into, you know, the end of next year. And then we lose the social aspect, which is exactly what's been happening, which is what sucks. And, you know, this is fantastic for us. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. If it goes away, I've been thinking for years, I've been wanting to do some kind of event.
Yep.
And of course, that all got shot down. But, like, you know,
is this the one where you go and stroke the
space.
lenses? That event where you will.
I love that. That's like the ultimate, like, John Wick backroom level. That's the end goal. Maybe the exclusive version, but I would love to do, like, I don't know, just save up, put together a budget, and, like, rent out a big space, open bar,
Yep.
And I don't know how I'd figure out tickets or whatever, but just a way for us all to hit, like NAB without the floor, which is sad
Yeah.
because that's half the fun.
Yep.
But just a place for people to just literally stand around and chat,
And-
hang out, bring your own gear, chill, talk, drink, eat,
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
It'd be nice
But-
if something emerges like in a little bit the same way that the Camera Festival is in Poland, which again we've spoken about, but that is a cinematography festival, so it's a film festival at its heart,
Yeah.
I suppose. But there's an awful lot of fantastic workshops, a lot of good education stuff there. But it really serves as just a massive social gathering. That's why everybody goes to it, the same as everyone goes to NAB, or the same as we'll go to NAB.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see if other things like that maybe take the reins a little bit.
I think
fill the void.
Masters in Motion was kind of had a nice vibe to it. I never got to go to it, but I liked the concept of going down there and spending 2 or 3 days. There was some education there, but it was clearly a hang kind of event. It was. It
Where was
wasn't
that?
net. They did that in was it Austin, or maybe somewhere else?
Austin rings a
No,
bell.
maybe it wasn't. Is it
Was
the?
it
I remember.
around
Is it?
South by Southwest?
No, it's its own thing.
Different time.
Every year. Maybe it was in different places, but I always wanted to go there to Masters in Motion. I thought that looked like a good thing. So I don't know. We'll see. Yes, I saw the Boston Dynamics dancing video with the robots that are going to kill us. Don't bring that up. I hate that. That was just
amazing. I
disgusting.
loved it.
That's what they're going to
That was
do.
great.
Yeah, I loved it until they come and murder you in your sleep or while you're awake or any other time that you're surviving as a human being.
You
That
can't
is the
kick
most
them over,
terrifying.
clearly.
No.
They've tried that. I love those videos.
That is
I'm
the
amazed
dance.
that's where both of your brains have gone when you've seen that.
Yeah,
What? Every time.
What I love is watching the videos of the compilations of them trying to knock the robots over,
I know.
and then like they recover like every time, and then go look at the comments. Everyone's like, "Dude, they're going to murder the human race now because all you do is try to kick them over. You're like starting Terminator by doing this."
Exactly. Oh, absolutely. I mean, between Terminator and RoboCop, I mean, we're done. We're not that far away either, by the way. I mean, we know the AI is there. We're getting pretty close. So no wonder Elon Musk moved to Texas. He can do whatever the hell he wants now. He's in the state. They won't regulate him like they do in California. Texas will let Elon Musk do whatever he wants. So just you wait, see what comes out of that lab in 5 years.
And just like that, for those just tuning in, what a wild conversation. We're not that far. Elon Musk.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, that's
So-
because we got into a Boston Dynamics conversation. Go ahead. Tell me.
So we're 2 minutes away. 2 minutes left. The last show.
Yeah.
We've almost done 100 of these, which is pretty wild.
Insane.
What are you guys looking forward to next year? You too, chat. If anything.
Skynet is
Any
spelled
final thoughts?
Amazon. I would agree with that. I'm gonna go first and say I'm looking forward to probably first and foremost just seeing people again. I'm really hoping that happens and we don't have to wait until close to this time next year for that to occur. Like I like hanging out with people and eating good food and having drinks and just talking, and that's a big part of what's important. And it just rubs salt into the wound when I watch movies and I see these big social gatherings and people hanging out and all of these things that you think back on as just sort of normal life. And I think what I'm looking forward to the most, and it may not be 2021, but is not having to wake up every single day and having, one of these and everything that surrounds the pandemic be omnipresent. It's just always there as part of what your life is, and that you can't get away from having a conversation especially if you have children or a loved one or people, every single time, don't forget your mask, don't forget this, don't forget to do that. It's just, I'm getting really tired of it. And so I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to being able to be with people, to be able to travel, to be able to have more of that. You know, I'm going out and I can just randomly meet up with a friend and go have a beer somewhere and not have to worry about all of those things. I think that that's what I'm looking forward to. And of course, I'm looking forward to my family and doing more work and getting better and learning more. But those are the things that are important to me. So yeah. And Rabbit Tribble
nice.
says I can move to Florida and just do that today, which is absolutely true. But I don't want to move to
But you
Florida.
would be also moving to Florida.
Exactly.
No income tax aside.
And 360 Grad is looking forward to Gillette's shavers with 12 blades. That's pretty funny.
Fabulous.
How about you, Ben?
Yeah.
What do you got?
Same, exactly the same as
Yeah.
you. I'm
Probably
looking forward to
all
just
of us.
worrying about all the stuff that I used to worry about, like not having any money or is there enough work coming in, rather than having to just that occupying so much of your headspace all the time. And yeah, like just going back to being able to see people and not have that in the back of your mind all the time. Is that a sensible person I'm about to meet? They might have been somewhere else. That's just horrible. I hate that whole thing of having to even think about it. It's ridiculous. I'm
Yep.
sick of it. I haven't seen my parents, my brother and sister for well over a year now. That's getting tough. It's been tough for ages, but you know, so I'm desperate to see all of them, and just working with the people, working with Jago, that we work together a lot. Love working with him. Miss doing that. You know, all of that stuff. It's people. That's what I'm missing. That's what I'm looking forward to. Gear, everything else, don't care. Just
Yeah.
people again. That's
Yeah.
it.
Caleb?
Same as you guys. Breaking bread with friends. And man, I just feel awful for, at least in this area where it's still pretty locked down, the restaurant industry. Some of my favorite places, amazing owners, people that work their butt off, you know, and it's over for so many of them. You know, there's no way you can outsmart getting shut down, you know?
Nope.
So that just sucks to watch amazing talent and people's, you know, have to shut it all down. So yeah, spending time with people and eating good food with them while supporting, you know, local
business. Yeah, which is what really makes an area is the hospitality industry, and seeing that being destroyed is just horrible. I don't know why we have a thumbs down, but that beep was intense. Where did
Sorry
that
about
come
that.
from? Oh, I don't
My
know.
remote start.
We got a
started the van. It's freezing
good for
cold
you.
here, ice everywhere.
Yeah, no, we got one thumbs down, so clearly that person wants to continue to isolate during the pandemic. But for everybody else, I would say if you have family and you have friends and you can hug them and it's safe to do that, do it. I can't wait to hug more people. I know that sounds strange, but it's something about just being able to see the people that you love, you know, hang out with the people that you're close to. Appreciate that as much as you can without sounding too sappy. It really is the important thing. You know, we all work hard at what we do. We all like what we do, I think. And we are going to have varying degrees of success or failure at different points of time. But in the end, you know, it's about your friends and family. So
Yep.
that's what
That was so
I'm looking
nice.
forward to.
I'm not going to drop any mannequin comments here.
And you just did. Well done.
My brain was just...
Well, friends and family, it could extend. I mean, you know, it depends on how lonely you are. And then, you know, you might need a hug and you can't get one. So what are you going to do?
But 100% real, for real. Can't wait to hug and touch all of you. I miss you guys.
And with that, with the hugs and the touching, we're going to say goodbye to 2020. We wish everybody who comes here every week, and even people who come here occasionally, the best of luck in 2021. You know, be sensible, but also live your life. And you don't have to listen to me, but, you know, trust your instincts and live your life. If you can't do that, then it's just a game over. I'll let you extract whatever you want out of that. But, take care, but live your life. All the best, everybody. Have fun.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.